Hi, this is Mary James with Passive House Accelerator. Thanks for tuning into this special episode of the Passive House podcast. We'll be talking about Reimagine Buildings 24, a 24-hour around the world global online conference being held March 7th and 8th. Today, I'll be speaking with Lisa White, Associate Director of Phius, who will be a featured speaker at Reimagine Buildings 24. We are very excited that Phius is joining the accelerator as a community partner for RB24, as we call it. Thanks, Lisa, for coming on and talking. Can you tell us a little bit about what it means to you to reimagine buildings and why Phius decided to join in and support RB24, as we call it?
Sure. So maybe starting with what it means to me to reimagine buildings. I mean, I see buildings as more than just a place for, safety, shelter, housing, and things like that. Especially when we're considering within the greater clean energy transition, I really see buildings as being part of the solution. And this is getting a little bit into a teaser about what my presentation is going to be on. So I'll pause on that for now. And then Phius, of course, I'd like to think, we're a community partner, but I'd like to think that we, in the concept of passive building and what we're doing through Phius, is reimagining buildings on a day-to-day through what passive building can deliver to occupants through health, comfort, air quality, and all of those things, affordable housing, resilience, and all the different benefits. So, we are constantly in touch with the passive building community, but I believe being a community partner of this event that has a worldwide reach is really important. And I think it's going to be really exciting to see this happen over a 24-hour period across the world. So we're excited to be a partner and glad to be included.
Yes, and we're thrilled to have you included. And also, we were very excited to announce last week that participants can earn Phius credits for the sessions. Can
Yes.
you tell us a little bit about the advantages of getting Phius credits and what they can be used for?
Sure. Yeah. So these are continuing education credits. Anyone that's been certified as a Phius professional, so that's our consultants, builders, raters, verifiers, have a 3-year renewal cycle on their credentials. So they need to earn CEUs over that period of time. So each hour basically of the programming that's accepted or qualified for the credit will give them 1 CEU. So it's basically just adding to the bucket of CEUs they can earn to renew that credential, which is very important for professionals that are inching toward their credential expiration dates.
Of course, and it's great that there's so many hours that they can get credits for. So
Right.
pile up a significant amount at one event.
Right. I think I was just looking. I was told not all of them have been submitted yet, but I think it'll be at least 10. 10 of the 24 hours, which is a lot. I think 36 is what we need for consultants and less for the other 2 credentials. So you can get, a very good amount through this event.
And can you mentioned that it was a little bit of a tease about what you're going to be presenting about, but can you amplify that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So I'm going to be talking about really the role of building and specifically passive building and flexible loads within passive building in the clean energy transition. So thinking about this from the challenges that are associated with the supply side of the transition. So that is swapping out fossil fuel-based generation to electricity generation with renewable energy generation. And then the challenges on the demand side happening at the same time, making things even more complex, where we're switching from fossil fuel-based equipment in buildings to all electric to kind of align with that clean energy, right, that we're generating on the grid. But those things happening in tandem alongside many other things are creating a lot of challenges. And what I highlight in the presentation is that starting with low load building design is arguably the most important thing we can do for facilitating more renewables into the grid. That peak load in buildings is really what's driving infrastructure needs, not just renewable energy capacity, but also the wires or the transmission and distribution that's needed to provide power to these places. So the low load in the building bringing that load down like ripples upstream to avoided costs in transmission, distribution, generation infrastructure, and all of that. And if we can bring the loads down and then allow the building loads to be flexible, which means the timing can be adjusted, maybe heating, cooling, hot water, things that are adjustable loads, so they can align with when renewable energy is available, that is going to make the energy transition much simpler, less costly, and happen a lot quicker. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. And passive building obviously provides those two things. So.
Right, that's really exciting. It's a little bit like our event where, thinking globally, but acting locally. And
right.
So that's a huge systems thinking perspective that you're bringing, but also how people can act locally with that perspective
Absolutely.
in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. And well, we're really excited that you're partnering up with us on this event. And we hope that we'll see many, many Phius people come and attend.
Yeah, absolutely. Excited to be involved and looking forward to it.
Great. And are there any upcoming Phius events or changes that you want to hint at also?
Oh, sure. Actually, a few. We just released a pilot launch of what's called Phius Revive 2024. It's a standard for retrofit buildings that is a completely new framework for passive building. I probably shouldn't go into too much detail here, but if you want to check it out on the Phius website, search for Revive 2024. We have a public comment period that's open right now for that standard, which we plan to fully launch later this year. And then maybe two exciting developments happening within our training programs. So we have a trades or craftsperson training that we are launching later this year for both an enclosure specialist and mechanical specialist. You'll see more about that from us soon. We're really excited those programs off the ground. And then another program coming in about a month and a half is called our foundations training, which is aimed at a broader audience, homeowners, developers, CEOs, policymakers, which really gives 101 level information on a handful of topics, including passive building, building science, business case of passive, all of that stuff. And that program will launch with the ability to earn a Phius associate designation. So a little bit, not quite not the professional credential that we're offering with consultants, builders, raters, and verifiers or trades, but just the associate level that you have kind of the understanding and enough background knowledge to have valuable conversations about passive building. And we're really excited for that. And we hope that can hit a much wider audience than our existing training programs.
Great. Those sound like exciting developments.
I'm very excited for them. Yep.
Thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with me.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to this special episode of the Passive House podcast, featuring some upcoming guests for our Reimagine Buildings '24, happening on March 7th and 8th. Reimagine Buildings is a global online conference that will provide information, connections, and inspiration to make buildings that can change the world. Over the course of 24 hours, we'll circumnavigate the globe, unveiling a new innovative building project every hour, complete with actionable solutions and lessons from around the world. Also earn AIA credits. RB24 live program sessions will be submitted for AIA CEs in partnership with AIA New York State. And for students, check out our scholarships and special student discounts. Many thanks to NYSERDA for being the stakeholder sponsor of RB24. Register now for Reimagine Buildings '24 and use the promo code PODCAST for a 20% discount.